what real independent journalism looks like.
What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show.
Well, good morning, everyone, and we're always wrong until we're right here on the MG Show. We followed this entity that was called Q, got majorly attacked for it. Now I'm figuring out why. Shady Groove, welcome to the show, because we're always wrong until we're right. So Q proofs, again, are unlocking the map, Shady.
Thank you guys so much for being here. At a breakneck speed. This is not going slowly. This is going very, very quickly. Keeping up with this is getting ready to be really, really insane, everybody. Remember, we have to keep moving ahead of them. They are lagging way behind. They cannot keep up with the news cycle if we keep moving through it like this. And they're trying to do it by insurrecting. And so this is getting ready to stop the insurrecting, ladies and gentlemen. This is not going to be a repeat of 2020. This is not going to be the summer of love. People, I've been having conversations, Jeff, on X with people that think somehow that you have a right. I don't know how they've gotten this, but they think that ICE does not have authority over an American that is trying to get in their way and block them from bringing an illegal
it's called impeding a federal investigation, right?
That's unbelievable that they're thinking this. I don't understand where they started getting this information, but if you go up against any federal agent in any regard, in any circumstance, in any instance, it's not going to end well for you. We fight these things in court. We do not fight skirmishes with the federal agents.
Yeah. I mean, Tim Walz was out there yesterday saying that, he at the time of the shooting, he was out there spewing crap. We need to follow them. We need to, he said Ivan Raiklin's term, retribution.
Yep.
We're building cases for retribution. I mean, okay, Ivan.
He absolutely said that.
Wow, guys.
Yep.
All right. So what's happening right now? We've got Pam Bondi, 6 prosecutors fired by Pam Bondi in Minnesota. I saw that last night. This is not a game, guys. And again, let's go over the post, not again, but let's just take a step back and kind of go over what's happening, Shady. Okay?
And I think before you jump into that, I want to preface what you're getting ready to say with explaining this to everybody very clearly. Remember how we've been explaining to you about you need a victim? You need a circumstance. You need an instance. You need something to occur so that law can be implemented. You can't just go bringing law at human beings. You have to bring law at crimes committed doing it in real time as they're being committed so that everybody can see what's going on, in my opinion, is the best way to utilize this tactic.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And, again, so the Insurrection Act, okay, this unlocks a bunch of Q posts, okay, and it unlocked it in 2020 too, and it was from the same city, okay. The George Floyd, let's just step back, okay. What is the Insurrection Act? We're going to talk about that right now, but Shady, I just want to play this little portion of this video about in June 1st, 2020. Let's watch. This was also Minneapolis, guys.
I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
So we're going to get into what is the 1807 Insurrection Act on this show as well. We're going to show you Q Post 22 is all unlocked now, okay? And we unlocked it a long time ago in 2020 when this was happening, but apparently, so Summer of Love redo. The Summer of Love, it started in Minneapolis with the George Floyd thing, okay? It got bad over several cities, okay? The National Guard is also Summer of Love Part 2, okay? That is also a Q post. We were expecting this, and we didn't get it the first term. We're getting it the second term, Shady.
Well, I think that I think that there was, in the middle of what was going on and the drops were coming out, we had a reorientation where they understood that, wait a minute, we've got too many people that are around us that are stopping us from what we're doing. We're going to have to step away, and we're going to give them the opportunity to show the American people who they really are. And that happened under Joe Biden. Okay. Yeah. Without the Joe Biden presidency, we would have not gotten the mandate that we have right now, in my opinion on that also. I don't really think that the American people would have been as motivated to get rid of the illegals had Joe Biden not brought in 20 million more during the last 4 years, or during the 4 years of his administration.
Right. So, continuing on, this Q post about Summer of Love redo, it's 4957 625 2022. Who was Jane Roe? We thought that this was going to be the Summer of Love back then, Shady Group. Jane Roe, right? Isn't this the
Roe versus Wade?
Stuff? What?
Roe versus Wade.
Yeah, Roe versus Wade, right? And she was a fraud. We found that out. But how do you control generations of a populace? 50 years of conditioning, 50 years of propaganda, 50 years of lies, peaceful protests, riots, Summer of Love redo? What happens when you corner an animal? Guess what's coming up? The midterms. Democrat power implosion, guys. Wow. I'm telling you guys, this, and again, the it will be clean and swift. So that's another, Q post that unlocked. But let's just talk about Donald Trump's post real quick. We ready?
Yep.
If the corrupt politicians of Minnesota don't obey the law and stop the professional agitators and insurrectionists from attacking the Patriots of ICE, who are only trying to do their job, I will institute the Insurrection Act, which many presidents have done before me, and quickly put an end to the travesty, clean and swift, that is taking place in the once great state. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay? So we got that. But what's this, Shady Groove? What's this right here? This is Q Post 4360 on 5/30/2020. Insurrection Act of 1807. Determination that the various state and local authorities are not up to the task of responding to the growing unrest. Call the ball. Okay. So who is the state authority? Walz. Who's the local authority? The Frey and the stupid, what is he? What is he?
Ellison, AG.
Yeah. The AG, and also, that's state AG, Walz, local, the sheriff, the police guy, Minnesota, Minneapolis, and Frey, the mayor. Okay, so we got all that there. The authorities are not up to task to respond. So last night, They were pillaging ICE vehicles, opening gun safes, throwing fireworks at people. That is not peaceful protest. Don't ever come and tell me, well, it's mostly peaceful. Stop it. It's partially violent, and that's what matters, Shady.
You don't get to throw fireworks at cops. Okay. So yesterday, during the day, we saw multiple videos posted to the internet of foreign, let's say it like this, foreign Antifa. There was a guy from California, there was a guy from Washington State, and another guy, I think, from Idaho, making videos saying that they were headed to Minnesota. So you got Antifa on the ground headed to Minnesota. What are they there to do? They are there to do exactly what they did: throw fireworks at police, cause chaos, and generate an optic so that things could ensue and hopefully further undermine ICE's authority. That's what they were sent to do. Now they've done it. They broke into FBI cars, or they broke into ICE agents' cars. They were on there with videos, Jeff, reading names of FBI agents and where they lived, house names, addresses, and all the types of information about who these people are without masks on, by the way. A number of these people didn't have masks on. They were jerking the car apart, effectively, acting as if, who do these people think they are? Do you think your average Democrat that's sitting next to you in your neighborhood that has a nice little puppy dog and goes out and gets the mail every day, do you think that that person supports this type of behavior?
Yeah, it's crazy, guys. All right, so that is that one, Shady Grove. And then we've got Q Post 22, okay? This is fully unlocked. 11/1/17 Post 22. Who controls the National Guard? The governor, normally, right? And then the president, right? Why was the National Guard recently activated in select cities within the U.S.? Well, we all know why. To protect ICE agents. Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize? What former presidents used the military to save the republic, and what occurred exactly? Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? Do conditions need to be satisfied? Yes. The Insurrection Act is the condition for the Marines to work with the National Guard. The Insurrection Act gives POTUS the full authority to deploy active duty Marines, armed forces, and federalize the National Guard to work together, suppressing insurrections, domestic violence, or when radicals obstruct federal enforcement, or when radicals obstruct federal enforcement, or when radicals obstruct federal enforcement, Shady.
Needs to be understood. We cannot get anywhere if we don't understand the law in the country and what it is that you have to obey. Yeah. We had a fight in the mid-1800s called the Civil War. That Civil War ended with the decision that the Federalist versus Anti-Federalist crew had the decision made. The federal government has the last say. That was the terms agreed to at the end of the Civil War. Okay, you have to understand that this is an insurrection, literally in the footprint of the Civil War, because for the same reason, cheap labor. Okay. They're fighting to keep their illegals. They're fighting to keep their cheap labor. They literally would stand up and die for an illegal immigrant before they would ever defend your right to not be censored. I'm telling you that right now. These people that were putting masks on and screaming, yelling, doing all these different things, the summer of love, all those insurrecting, screaming, telling you what you were doing as MAGA at the Capitol, all those people would literally put their body in front of a bullet to save an illegal, and they wouldn't give you the time of day as an American. I'm telling you, I know people don't believe me. I know that sounds crazy, but that is the absolute truth. I live among them out here. They are everywhere out here.
Yeah. So continuing, right? So this is the Insurrection Act, Shady, and it's been used by presidents, like you just mentioned. And, Section 251, on state request, Trump is saying, call them out. He gave them the option. He gave Walz the option in Summer of Love Part 1. And then Walz actually finally said, okay, bring them in. Okay, finally. Or when they won't act, okay, on state request, or when they won't act, the president can call in militia or other states' guards and use armed forces. 252 says enforce federal authority when laws can't be executed normally. Okay, they are impeding federal investigations, legal, lawful investigations and operations, Shady. Getting rid of hardcore criminals, guys. And the media is to blame as well. And these politicians watching them last night. That guy, they're insane, Shady. These people are insane.
Yeah, but because of what they see, right? Because of the way they're calling what they're looking at. They're like looking at it and seeing something completely different. Remember how
So this is, I just want to quickly, because, it's hard to get through all this. It's a large act. But this is that, determine state and local authorities are not up to the task of responding. What former presidents used it? Okay, what to use the military and what occurred exactly? Can the National Guard work in connection with the Marines? So basically, the law explicitly says, or both Marines and Federalized Guard can operate side by side under presidential command, no posse comitatus, okay? That's huge, guys, and that's a complete Q proof for Q Post 22. Let me go to that. There it is, okay? And then what former presidents, Shady? Let's do this one. And this is the biggest drop ever to be provided on poll. Study and prepare. The masses tend to panic in such situations. No war, no civil unrest. Clean and swift, Shady.
Yes.
Okay? Now,
that's what we signed up for.
These are the presidents, guys. These are the presidents that use the Insurrection Act. This is a graphic Shady grabbed, and it's a good graphic. And we can go into more about each one of those presidents, because Q does ask what former president used the military to save the republic and what occurred exactly. So let's go ahead and find out what occurred exactly. I've got that here too.
It's going to be the Lincoln and the Civil War.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's he wanted all of them, I guess. So we'll go through all of them. Let me go through this. I've got a post right here. This is it. That probably goes nowhere because nobody really cares about my account. Oh, 2000. Okay, that's good. Wow, I broke 2000, Shady. All right, so this is it. Okay, George Washington, 1794. It was the Whiskey Rebellion, earlier use of precursor authority. Abraham Lincoln in 1861, as Shady pointed out, at the start of the Civil War, to suppress Southern rebellion and call up troops. Okay. Ulysses S. Grant, multiple times in 1870s, to combat the Ku Klux Klan violence and reinforce Reconstruction-era civil rights. And by the way, he was a Republican, okay? Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1957, Little Rock, Arkansas, Shady, to enforce school desegregation against state resistance. John F. Kennedy used it. The University of Mississippi and Alabama desegregation crisis. Lyndon B. Johnson, Detroit riots, 1967, and other civil unrest. George H.W. Bush, Los Angeles riots. Remember those, Shady?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I do.
So, President Trump's January 15th, 2026 post threatens invocation of the Minnesota amid the protests against ICE, and it's going to go across other cities too, okay? If this following shootings involving agents and clashes labeled attacks on patriots of ICE, this fits his America First agenda of strong border security and federal enforcement against what he calls and what is agitators or insurrectionists obstructing lawful duties. There's no invocation has occurred as of today, but the act provides clear presidential authority if conditions like unlawful interference uses to protect federal operations and personnel. Many presidents have relied on it and did it decisively to end domestic threats and uphold what do we call the rule of law, guys. That's what we call it, the rule of law. These are not peaceful protests, Shady.
They're not protests. They are not even protests. Not only are they not
real.
Peaceful, they're not only not peaceful protests. They're not really protests. They're riots. They're engineered riots. They're paid for. They're astroturf is the best word. They're fake. It's completely fake. It's not real. It doesn't exist. This is very important. This is very, very important, especially if you have children that are idiots. Sorry to say that are Democrat fools and they're jumping in on the train of all this, or anybody else in your family that you know that's starting to get activated. If your 70-year-old grandma is starting to get activated towards these people, you're going to have to give her some information. There is no differentiation between an ICE agent and an FBI agent. There is no differentiation between an ICE agent and a National Guard troop. There is no differentiation between an ICE agent and, say, a Marine or a Border Patrol or a Coast Guard person. There's no differentiation whatsoever. I do not know who's putting this in these people's heads, but they somehow think that ICE agents do not have the same federal protection as as a regular federal government. So they're acting like they can't. An ICE agent can't intercede with an American. They're telling American people, white American women mostly, that ICE cannot stop you because they don't have authority over you because you are an American. That is wrong. If you are impeding any process whatsoever that the federal government is attempting to do, you are making yourself a criminal, okay? You're turning yourself into a criminal in that moment. You have no right whatsoever, even if you love the person, even if you know the person, even if you've been there their whole lives and you are babysitting their children. It does not matter. You do not have any authority to get in these people's way. And what they're doing right now is they're trying to generate the optic. What is the optic? Remember what they were saying. The military, oh, we don't want the military. We don't want the military. The reason they don't want the military, the reason they're trying to gin up all this hatred for them is because they're actually creating the exact situation that's going to dictate the military, which is a perimeter being set by a military force so that ICE can go into an area and get people. That's what they're trying to instigate, and that's where this is all headed.
Tonight, I want to share another way you can help. Witness. Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution. Tonight, I want to share another way you can help.
Future prosecution, huh?
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
Yeah. And he did this while that shooting was happening.
But think about what he's saying. He acts like that his state attorney general can file charges against a federal agent. Can someone please, anyone, point to me on the map where that is? Where can you do that? Show me where you can do that. Show me where a state can prosecute an FBI agent. The state can investigate a situation and recommend or make a referral to the district attorney's office in D.C., but they can't prosecute anything.
Right. So this is breaking news. This was breaking news last night. Here's what happened.
Of this shooting, if you're just joining us, a shooting tonight in Minneapolis involving ICE once again. According to Bill's earlier report and Alexis McAdams, there was a Venezuelan that was being apprehended by ICE, apparently took a shovel and was about to assault or was assaulting ICE agents, shot in the leg. Apparently he's not it's not a very severe injury, according to our sources as of now. Bill, you broke this story. What else can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Sean, well, as you can tell from the live images, it's starting to get pretty spicy out there with the protesters. I'm told by a federal source, that several ICE vehicles have had their tires slashed right now. Everything I'm getting is very preliminary, but what I'm told is earlier this evening, North Minneapolis, ICE was trying to make contact with a target who I'm told is a Venezuelan. At some point during that interaction, I'm told that target had a shovel and assaulted an ICE agent or swung that shovel at an ICE agent. And in response to that, shots were fired. I'm told that target was shot, but is okay. I'm told he's in custody. He's stable. He's okay. He's not dead. Just suffered gunshot wounds. But now you're starting to see the response to it, right? Protesters are starting to show up. You hear the whistles, you see the fireworks. I'm told a statement should be coming out from DHS fairly soon, but you know how it is, Sean. Anytime anybody hears about any sort of use of force with ICE, protesters are going to start showing up, and I'm being told by sources that ICE needs some help out there, and that tires on ICE vehicles are currently being slashed as more protesters are showing up at the scene. Working the phone, literally texting right now as I'm talking to you, and we'll get more details as soon as possible.
Pretty crazy, huh? So slashing tires is an act of violence, guys, just so you know. That's not peaceful.
Yes. And also, so you know, there is a treasure trove of history here to recognize what is going on. This is a very, very volatile moment, and everybody has to recognize that listen, I grew up in the South. The South was fighting the federal government over states' rights. The South and the people in the South thought that the states had jurisdiction over the federal government. They turned it into that we were trying to keep slaves. That's what they did. Therefore, the Civil War was fought on the battlefront of slavery. Civil War ended with the southern states capitulating that the federal government has the last say. For the Union to come back together and for the country to move forward, everyone agreed that the federal government, the anti-federalists, if you will, capitulated, that the federal government in the areas of about 4 different things, including immigration, had the last say. And all the other things fell to the states' rights, just like it said in the Constitution. That's the fight that we had, and that's the situation that we're in. And what Tim Walz is doing right now is no different than what Governor Francis Pickens in South Carolina did with the Governor Andrew Moore of Alabama in the 1800s, whenever they started attacking Fort Sumter and the Civil War kicked off. That's what these people are trying to do. And they think that they have enough momentum to do it. But you cannot generate an insurrection with the state of Minnesota, the state of Illinois, and the state of California. It's not going to work because the states aren't connected. The reason that it worked in the South was because the states were connected and they could circle the wagons and they could actually forge a force together and fight. These people are not going to be able to do this. And we all know this. This is all for show, and this is all to try to split the country further, and it's not going to work.
Not going to work. And this is the Homeland Security at 6:50 p.m. Central Time. Federal law enforcement officers were conducting a targeted traffic stop in Minneapolis of an illegal alien from Venezuela who was released into the country by Joe Biden in 2022. You know, sometimes you got to go to the crux of the problem. Blood on his hands, okay? In an attempt to evade arrest, the subject fled the scene in the vehicle and crashed into a parked car. The subject then fled on foot. Law enforcement officers caught up to the subject on foot and attempted to apprehend him when the subject began to resist and violently assault the officers while the subject and law enforcement officers were in a struggle on the ground. 2 subjects came out of a nearby apartment and also attacked the law enforcement officer with a snow shovel and broom handle. As the officer was being ambushed and attacked by the 2 individuals, the original subject got loose and began striking the officer with a shovel or broomstick. Fearing for his life and safety, he was being ambushed by 3 individuals. As he was being ambushed, the officer fired a defensive shot to defend his life. The initial subject was hit in the leg. All 3 subjects ran back into the apartment and barricaded themselves inside. The attacked officer and subject are both in the hospital. Both attackers are in custody. This attack on another brave member of law enforcement, whether it's federal, state, local, it's law enforcement, took place while Minnesota's top leaders, Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, or whatever his name is, are actively encouraging an organized resistance to ICE and federal law enforcement officers. Their hateful rhetoric and resistance against men and women who are simply trying to do their jobs must end. Federal law enforcement officers are facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them as they put their lives on the line to arrest criminals and lawbreakers. Now, so we got a little bit of that. So those people ran into an apartment complex, okay? And somebody actually called 911.
Yeah.
We've got the 911 video here. Basically, what happened is the 911 call from North Minneapolis family, okay? Quote, "He was shot in the leg. My husband hit the agent, and they shot him when he closed the door. The family admits it was the husband," okay? So I'm going to play a little bit of this video. I know it's if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the words or rumble.com/MG show. But it's, translated here. You ready, Shady? Check it out.
Yeah, that's going to mess up the narrative, isn't it?
Yeah, this totally destroys the narrative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
En la pierna. Por favor, ayúdenos, tenemos hijos.
Tenemos unos
Asómalo
niños
por la
pequeños
ventana.
aquí en la casa.
¿Y si disparan?
Asómalo así, nada más por fuera. Los del aire, son los del aire.
Miguel, quítate de ahí. Quítate de ahí.
Venían persiguiendo a mi marido hace como media hora, lo estaban tratando de chocar. Y llegó a la casa y como le cerramos la puerta, le dispararon.
No mention of beating him with a snow shovel, huh?
No, they didn't really tell him that part, did they?
Ahorita me da miedo asomarme la ventana.
Te voy a decir algo. Si no hubiese visto ni nunca me hubiesen agarrado. Ni que quiera. No hubiese pasado nada.
Y el carro,
Están aquí abajo afuera tratando de entrar a la casa. Por favor, necesitamos ayuda.
Que me pongas ahí para yo enseñarlo, para que venga la persona y nos ayude.
Sí, en este momento están afuera de la casa tratando de entrar.
Sounds like your ass needs to be deported.
están abriendo un carro. ¿Ese es el suyo?
¿Cuál?
Están abriendo un carro en la parte de atrás.
Sí, ese es el mío. No, ese no es el mío. Y llegaron varios patrullas. El teléfono que venía
¿En la pierna?
Dile que dispararon una puerta. Hijo, ven. Hijo, ven.
There's a lot of that going on.
You know, it's very sad. You know,
It is sad.
It is sad. And you know, that looked like a third world country, just to tell you the truth, man. How disgusting.
Listen,
And,
I
and
saw,
you know, they have children, small children. They're here illegally. They're putting their child in danger, and they're acting like, oh, we're gonna. This is ridiculous, guys. I'm getting really tired of their narrative, Shady.
well, I've never really been there, so I'm not really exactly sure, but they were showing there was a guy driving through Minneapolis the other night. I don't know if you happen to see this video, but he's just filming, and it's like he drives by the bus stop. The bus stop has clothes hanging up in it, like it's someone's closet. And then there's like another area sitting right behind there that's got all this stuff stacked up on the street. And then behind that is an old gas station with the cover for the gas pumps. And there's like 4 people sitting in between the gas pumps by a fire. And it's like all printed around, like there's like they got their billboards on this is the people's place or all this stuff. Like it looks like a third world country.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing, man. You know,
It is effectively.
Oh my God! And you know, we've got so much happening. You know, and again, the same city as George Floyd. You guys get it? You see patterns? I notice patterns. You guys notice patterns. Summer of Love redo, guys. That's what they're trying to kick off. But it will end clean and swift. Even President Trump said it, and I will end it quickly. Okay?
It's not going to fester. This is not going to fester. The amount of people, we've already put them in their container. We saw an election where they could, with cheating as hard as they could cheat, they couldn't even muster up enough votes to beat us. So the reality of the situation is they've already lost X amount of ground. And what is happening right now is convincing people to agree with us. It's not convincing people to insurrect more. The people that are here, that are Antifa, that have been trained, this is their prize. This is the moment to shine. This is what they've been waiting for. But that's not Democrats. That's radical idiots whose minds have been weaponized by state-controlled media.
Yeah. All right, check this out. This is the mayor of Minneapolis.
There's still a lot that we don't know at this time, but what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to find a way forward to keep people safe, to protect our neighbors, to maintain order.
That's what we're doing.
And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are...
Shady, this is going to boil your blood, dude.
I'm already on the edge, bro.
Asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another. Why are we put in this position? We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis, far fewer that are able to work at any given time. And there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in the area. 3,000. The 600 police officers that we have are charged on any given day with investigating crime, stopping homicides from taking place, preventing carjackings. That's the work of a police officer in a city. Meanwhile, we have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos. This is not the path that we should be on right now in America. Thankfully, there's another path. I want to talk to everybody who's out there, even people who aren't living in Minneapolis right now. Maybe you just put your kids to bed. Maybe you're
Here you go, Shane. You
cleaning
love
up
this.
the dishes. I'm sure you love your family. There's no doubt in my mind that you love your town. Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. The local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart.
They're illegal.
They shouldn't hire illegals.
Schools shut down, and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare.
They should.
The daycare's a fraud.
Don't take your
He's
daycare
talking about
kids
the
to illegal.
Leering Center, Shady. The Leering Center.
They don't really watch kids, dude.
The Leering Center.
It's a learning center, not a learning center.
Fraud.
They only watch children at the learning center.
Safety. It's certainly not creating safety when a huge percentage of the shootings that have taken place so far this year in Minneapolis have been by ICE. So,
defending their lives.
Let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too.
Well, it's not, because I'm a Republican city.
And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop.
All right, so this is how they continue, like with that, oh, they're peaceful protests, but they do call out the agitators. I was pretty impressed that he actually did this. You know what I'm saying, Shady? Listen, check it out.
That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. And I have seen thousands of people throughout our city peacefully protesting. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you. For those that are taking the bait, you are not helping, and you are not helping the undocumented immigrants in our city.
They're called illegal aliens, pal.
It's like now you got to like get a prize if you do it right.
Yeah.
Like protesting is not hard.
Listen to this.
ICE can leave, and this massive deployment can come to an end. We have filed litigation to hopefully make it so.
Invoke the Insurrection Act.
I'm deeply
You incompetent POS.
that we don't have that kind of time. This is already the second shooting that we've had in a week.
In a week.
People are scared. The atmosphere is tense. But again, there is another option.
Insurrection Act.
Stop going down this route together. We'll open it to any questions.
Yeah. So I just wanted to play that part, Shady Grove. The guy is playing the victim because he works in a blue city that, you know, housed all these illegal aliens, and he's calling them undocumented immigrants. No, they're illegal aliens. They were brought into our country to do exactly this, to vote people like that fraud in, to set up these Leering centers, to fund people like that fraud Mayor Frey and Walz and Kamala Harris, all of them. This is a fraud. This is disgusting. And every American, no matter if you're Democrat or Republican, should be on board with this. I don't know why. I guess mind control works, Shady.
Well, it does, and effectively, what's going on right now? Okay, let's just talk about it for a second in real terms. Where's the money? Oh yeah, wait, didn't Donald Trump just say no more money for sanctuary states? So what happens whenever that sanctuary state doesn't get that money from the federal government? What happens whenever your community of Somalis doesn't get their SNAP benefits? What really goes down in the city whenever these people no longer have their $5,000 a month check? What happens whenever all these fake businesses get uncovered and get exposed? Where does the community go at that point? Because let me explain something to you that's very, very clear. This guy is protecting the grift. The grift is that you're in between the massive behemoth amount of money that's coming from the federal government, and then you make it up all of these different things that you're spending it on, but in all reality, you're stealing every bit of it. People are taking it, and you're all complimenting one another, and every single person down chain is corrupt. So if everybody in the system is corrupt, then there's nobody to stand up for things that aren't corrupt. Therefore, everybody compliments the system, and the system never stops until one thing stops happening. The money stops flowing. Once the money stops flowing, then your community starts to turn into something else, doesn't it? It starts to turn into an every man for himself type scenario. And let me take you on a little adventure to Somalia. Why don't you go and take some YouTube time and go look at some videos of what goes on in Somalia?
That's a nice place, Shady.
Yeah, they're really nice people.
The only thing that happens in Somalia is murdering and thieving and murdering.
Well, they throw poo at people too.
Well, that's at least that's not murdering.
They were throwing
unaliving. I'm sorry, YouTube. They
were throwing bottles of pee at ICE agents yesterday.
That sounds like Antifa. Oh, wait. Okay. Yeah, it is Antifa.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Antifa can do it too. Any idiot can piss in a bottle.
Antifa is MS-13. Antifa is Tren de Aragua. Antifa is the communist bloc, guys.
Antifa is a bunch of these illegals. We can show you evidence where a lot of these Antifa were trained in Ukraine. I'm thinking a number of them are Ukrainian.
Well, remember the flag with ISIS?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Do we have it all or not?
We have
17 in the chat if we have it all. And we've known that the Insurrection Act has been coming for 8 years. And all of these people that tried their dead level best to distract you with InfoWars, with devolution, with the elections, all this nonsense that they've been shoving down your throat, stopping people from paying attention to what's really going on. There's no daylight between those drops that we read 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. There's no daylight between any of those drops and this current administration. Zero.
And you know why?
Zero.
And you know why? Because they have the same playbook.
That would be correct.
And they need a new playbook, okay? So
that would be correct.
Anti-ICE rioters tied a rope to a weapons locker in a federal vehicle and ripped it out with a pickup truck, guys, as Minneapolis PD refused to respond. This is unsustainable, guys.
Imagine doing this with your friends when you were like 18, like you and your buddies were going to go out to the, tonight at the movies, and you ended up tearing a gun safe out of the rear of an FBI agent's car.
Let's watch. Not FBI, but ICE anybody's car, I guess, Shady.
Yeah, in general.
Snapchat, so they gonna be on your ass if y'all recording this. They gonna be on your ass. They gonna be on your ass. Your ass is a witness. Hey, don't hit them. We're gonna break that bitch.
So let's just turn the volume down and talk about it, Shady, while we run the footage. But this is not peaceful, okay? That is felony damage to a property, guys.
Every single person that touches that safe right there is a felon.
Yep.
You have no idea what these people, they have no idea what they're, this is a lot like what I saw people
What
do.
is this? What is this on the back? This is a gang, this is a gang.
The symbol. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that a Somali gang? I can't read
I mean, I
it.
would not be able to, the Somali gangs, Venezuelan gangs,
you name it.
Gangs, all the same to me.
ISIS.
I
mean, these people are disgusting. And I'm tired of, them using the actual peaceful protesters as like a shield, guys. Mostly peaceful means partially violent, and that's what you should, talk about. It was funny where it said, the CNN headline was like, ICE shoots another person, says that, and then defending their life, and in quotes. How about another illegal alien that has a criminal background who is being detained by ICE gets beat by a shovel, Shady? They didn't even it's all upside down world, man.
Is it racist to say that looks like something you'd see in Mogadishu?
I mean,
honestly,
never been.
I mean, whenever you talk about third world countries and you talk about like skirmishes and coups and the way that the people the people are so without, they've lived for so long with absolutely nothing. They get into a situation where they're getting any attention or anything, or they're stealing food off a truck or whatever it is. They act just like this.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world is going on here? What in the hell could be causing these people to do stuff like this other than a television?
Yeah.
The phone, I mean, effectively the phone, your screen that you're looking at all the time, and you never look into reality. Think about the number of times that we here have tried to talk you off the ledge.
Yeah.
We're constantly telling you, please just look into the mirror and say these things to yourself. You will not believe how silly it sounds.
Take your head out of Twitter, right? I mean, or Deep Dream or X, whatever you want to call it now, and then go to the mirror and say, Charlie Kirk's a time traveler, and see how you look. You look like an idiot.
That's a new one, by the way. That's Candace Owens' new line is that Charlie Kirk is he time traveled to the point where if I were Charlie Kirk and I had a time traveling device, I would time travel in a way where I wouldn't get shot.
So if you just joined us, we went over several Q proofs with the Insurrection Act. Yes, insurrection is 3 Q posts. Insurrection Act is one specific. Q post 22 is unlocked again, except it's not who is Jane Roe, it's who is Renee Good. Okay, so we just can take out Jane Roe and put who is Renee Good. And how do you these animals are cornered, they're protecting their grift. Shady, you said it perfectly just a second ago. This will be ended clean and swift with the Insurrection Act, and the President Trump basically kind of said it in a post this morning. Pretty incredible stuff. I wanted to get over to Kristi Noem. She was interviewed this morning on Fox. Let's go ahead and look at Kristi Noem and see what she says and how she says what's going on in Minneapolis. You ready?
You act like it's a busy news day.
No, and we didn't even get to Iran. We're not getting to posts unlocked.
We're having to skip them, because we got so many idiots here in our cities. We can't get to the international news.
And by the way, the MG show stands fully behind the people of Iran. We've known about Iran for a long time. In fact, it was supposed to happen in 2022, back in the first administration, but that got screwed up because of bad actors in the President Trump administration. Now that we have the cabinet that we need. Okay, no Scaramucci models, no Scaramucci plays going this time, guys. It's happening. He's got the cabinet he needs. And this is one person that's doing a great job in the cabinet. This is Kristi Noem, Shady.
I agree with you, and let's listen.
Citizens, and we're getting attacked while we do it, but we're going to continue to do our work and do what's right because it's what President Trump promised the American people.
When was the last time you called the governor, Governor Walz?
Oh, I talked to him just a couple of days ago.
And what did he say when you told him to chill out?
I said, Tim and I served together in Congress. We both ran for governor at the same time. We have very different ways of governing. Our state in South Dakota was extremely successful and grew economically and safety. He drove it into the ditch. And it has been an absolute disaster. He let it burn down in 2020 and then asked surrounding governors to send our National Guard to help him because he waited too long to make any decisions to bring peace. I'm worried that he's doing the same thing.
I understand that history, but when you approached him on the phone and made your appeal, what did he say?
I said, sir, listen, Tim, you know the situation, what's going on. We are enforcing federal law. If you don't like the laws, go change them, but don't do it by giving place to these protesters and...
Good advice. If you want to change the laws, go change them.
But the thing is, he can't because he's got someone's hand stuck up his butt that puppets him, so he has to do what he's told. Oh, damn.
Riders that are perpetuating violence. And I said, you have my personal cell phone. You call me. If you need me, you call me. We will be there to help back you up, but protect your city, protect your state. And he paused for a few seconds, and he just said, yeah, okay. We have very different viewpoints of what's going on. I said, maybe we do, but we will be here if you need us, because that's our goal every day, is to keep people safe.
So yesterday, he's encouraging people to keep a record on video with their phone. All right, here's part of that now. Listen.
You are not powerless. You are not helpless, and you are certainly not alone. All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. Carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
Well, you're welcome to answer that, but he's had a tough run politically in the last couple of years now, and some are suggesting that maybe it helps him or his party with the chaos. Do you think that there's some truth to that?
Oh, it's detracting from the fact that for years he's...
Real quick, Mikey Mariano says, this is a call to riot. How could it not be? Because he's saying peacefully protest. They always say stuff to give it a shadow of a doubt. You see what I'm saying, guys? What do they call that? Plausible deniability. Okay.
Plausible deniability.
And they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they are doing, but they know that the people that are peaceful will go out there, and they know that the people that are not peaceful will also go out there, guys. Usually when it gets dark out. Okay. Crazy.
Had the greatest fraud in American history happening right under his nose, and he didn't just allow it to happen. We believe from all indications that he was complicit in it, that he knew all about this Somalian fraud that was happening, stealing from government programs and taking dollars away from the most vulnerable individuals in this country and putting it in their pockets to make them rich. So he had this fraud going on for many years. He'd love to change the conversation, trying to demonize our ICE officers, but we're not going to. We are there. We're doubling down in Minneapolis to get to the bottom of this fraud, to make sure we bring perpetrators to justice, and to make sure that we're doing the right thing and bringing safety to the streets.
So I take your answer to be a yes. Is that right? That you believe the chaos does help him and or his party?
Absolutely, because if you look at the mainstream press, they're helping them. They're misportraying the situation on the ground. We had an officer last night viciously attacked with weapons, 3-on-1, where his life was in danger, and he defended himself. And you see a lot of news reports out there that it was another ICE shooting. They didn't report anything about the weapons or the fact that these individuals came out of a home to beat him mercilessly with a shovel, and that he had to protect his own life and his colleagues that were soon coming to back him up. So absolutely, I think that this is a distraction for him. We're not going to let that happen. We're going to continue to talk about the fraud and the stealing from the American taxpayers that he has allowed to have happen in Minneapolis. It is the largest fraudulent scheme in American history, we believe. It's in Minnesota. We're going to get to the bottom of it and bring people to justice, even the elected officials that allowed it to happen.
Two more things quickly. I don't have much of time. The mayor yesterday was warning people not to take the bait. That was his words, right? We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. Do you sense that he's backing away from his tougher language perhaps a week ago?
It's better than it was a week ago, but he's got a long ways to go. He needs to start working with our law enforcement officers. We could go get these criminals off the streets with their partnership and do it in a safe manner with less agents if he told everybody to go home and said it was no longer acceptable. The violent rioters that we're seeing on the streets today are there because of the mayor and how he's spoken. He needs to make sure that he's working with us, with his law enforcement officers, to make sure we're arresting the dangerous ones and sending the rest of them home.
Last point, the president's threatening the Insurrection Act. Just a quick definition for our viewers. Authorizes the president to deploy military forces inside the U.S. to suppress rebellion or domestic violence or to enforce law in a certain situation. How serious is that threat right now? Will that happen, Madam Secretary?
You know, I spoke to the president this morning about several different things, but we did discuss that. And that certainly is within the president's constitutional authority to use that if he thinks he needs to keep people safe. What I love about this president is the very first question that he asks me is, how are you doing and how are our people doing in this country? How are the people doing and our law enforcement officers? What can we do to keep them safe, but to also make sure we're bringing dangerous criminals to justice?
Well, there's a lot of work to be done based on what we're seeing in Minnesota, and who knows what comes next. Thank you for your time.
That's right.
Plenty to.
Pretty amazing, guys. What conditions have to be met, right? So that's a Q proof. And, you know, we're going to be, Caroline Levitt is going to be having a press conference. We're going to air that live here on the MG Show. It should be a hot one, Shady Grove. And we're coming up on the break, and we'll be right back after these beautiful boom messages, my brother.
Hello to all of you beautiful patriots out there.
First of all, let me just thank you all for supporting this show. We wouldn't be here without you. But I have a huge announcement regarding donations.
It has come to our attention that using the Rumble app is taking an additional 30% of your donation to the show.
Let me explain. According to our TOS, Rumble takes 20% of all donations made through the web browser.
And that's at 20%. It's a good deal if you consider other platforms like YouTube and such.
There is a hidden cost that we just found out. For example, we received a generous $500 donation from Spilty, and thank you so much for that, from the Rumble app on Apple. So Rumble took 20%, and Apple took an additional 30%. We brought that to Rumble, and they said, well, Rumble's take of tips and donations is 20%. That's if the transaction is done through the web browser. If using the Android or iOS app, it's an additional 30% collected by those platforms.
So please use the web browser to make your donations to the show and avoid the hidden fees by Apple and Android.
That's right. You can also support us at GiveSendGo/HelpMGShow, mg.show/donate. We have PayPal and Cash App. Both are at RealMGShow or $RealMGShow. Please help us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back in stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get our MyPillow bed sheets only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. How about our My Towels? They're finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first time and the only time ever, get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
MyPillow is excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever, with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closed-out deal you won't find anywhere else. MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88, any color, any style, any size, even kings. Regular $119.98, only $29.88. Once they're gone for good. My Towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. And for the first and only time, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens, $17.98. Kings, only $19.98. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-873-0478 and use promo code MGSHOW. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
The MG Show. Not funded by dark money, but funded by listeners like you.
I woke up this morning, clouds hanging tight, stumbling through the dark till I find the light. The MG music humming low and tight. I'm always wrong till I'm right. I got the always wrong till I'm right blues. Hear my plea.
Come on, guys, sing it.
Mistakes keep piling, weighing down on me. MG music plays through the fight. I'm always wrong till I'm right. Folks point and laugh, say I'm a fool, tripping on my words, breaking every rule. MG music brills, cuts the cruel knife. I'm always wrong till I'm right. I got the always wrong till I'm right blues. Hear my plea. Mistakes keep piling, weighing down on me. MG music plays through the fight. I'm always wrong till I'm right. Roars, my soul takes flight. I'm always wrong till I'm right. Preacher man said, son, you're lost in sin. I said, Reverend, I'll lose till I win. MG music roars, my soul takes flight. I'm always wrong till I'm right. So pour me some whiskey, let the night unfold. MG music hums a story untold. I'll crawl through the blues till the dawn's in sight. I'm always wrong till I'm right.
Oh my God. I love AI music.
We're always wrong until we're right, man.
I know. We get a lot of crap from people that don't like AI music, but you know what? YouTube censors us for using copyrighted material, so we write our own, and I don't know. I think I like it.
I think I like it.
Yep.
You're about to lose control.
Oh, man. People are losing control. And, we are in control. Patriots are in control of our own music now.
Of everything. We're in control of our information, too.
Yes.
You know, they can't manipulate us. They can't manipulate you. They can't manipulate the president of the United States. I think that's the greatest thing. Whenever you're kind of like sitting here and we're looking back over the last 7 or 8 years of what we've been doing, and then you look back over the 10 or 20 years that came before that in the Bush administration, the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, can you now see that these people were not leading anything? Can you now see that these people didn't have one original idea in that dumb head of theirs, whether it was Bush or whether it was Obama or Clinton? None of them had a single new idea. None of them had anything constructive to say, unless it benefited them or their cronies in the background, their mafia, if you will. They get animated whenever anybody would stop that. But, they had absolutely no new ideas, no new insight, no new leadership, no new direction forward. And now we got somebody that's doing that. And every single one of them, Trump makes all of them look terrible.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for the donations. Effectual Insurrection. I do have your message here. $17 Rumble Rant. I couldn't get to it at the time. It's not our fault we're blessed with a higher IQ, God-given discernment, and no agenda other than the truth. Thank you, Jeff and Shady. Way to lead the way and create a community. Thank you so much, man.
It's only going to be the people who care. You've heard me say this a number of times, like thanking you for caring. The only people that are going to be here are going to be the people that care about the truth. Nobody else can even be here. No one else can even sit into the room. There was a very famous line, and I didn't say anything about the passing of Bobby Weir, but Bobby Weir passed to the Grateful Dead this past week. Very sad to see him go. 78 years old, 30 years since Jerry died. But one of the lines in Jerry's songs that really struck me whenever I was young was there ain't nobody safer than someone who doesn't care. And you think about that in the context of what we're talking about with America, and look at all these people that pretend like this is the reason that you become a cynic. You become a cynic because it's easy to not care. If you're not a cynic, that means you care, which takes energy. It takes motivation. It takes momentum. It takes thought. It takes articulation. It takes deciding and forming an opinion. Those things mean you care, and it's very important to me to pass along that message, to understand that if you didn't care, the people that went away from this show are honestly the people that didn't care.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we're getting many, many people back, and we thank you very much. And new people. We got a lot of new people.
No matter what they try to do to stop us.
We got the Rumble wallet, guys. You're going to want to get this. I'm telling you, we've got it. But they can freeze your accounts. They can shut off your cards. They can lock you out of your money overnight. Banks don't protect you. They control you. That's why real financial freedom starts with ownership. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a non-custodial wallet built for people who refuse to give up control. We're talking about that too, right, Shady? With Rumble Wallet, you don't just buy digital currency like Bitcoin and Tether. You can own Tether Gold, real gold on the blockchain. Through Tether Gold, you can get direct ownership of physical gold bars, each one fully allocated, verifiable by serial number, purity, and weight. This isn't paper gold. This isn't an IOU. This is real gold without bank vault storage fees or gatekeepers. You can buy, sell, or move it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when traditional gold markets are closed. And if you want, Tether Gold can be redeemed for physical gold. That's the power. And when you support your favorite creators on Rumble, hopefully that's us, you can tip them directly by using that Rumble wallet, peer-to-peer, and it's totally outside of the banking system. It's 100% to us, guys. No permissions, no middlemen, no cancel button. This wallet is yours forever.
Yeah, and isn't it cool that it's connected? It's connected to the place where you're getting information. An interesting a dynamic that's forming. It's going to be happening with True Social also. There's a dynamic to your finances connected to your information. The same is going on with X. This is a new world that's unfolding in the way that and AI, I don't think, is something that we should be extremely afraid of, by the way.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Caroline Levitt.
Before she starts, Jeff, can we pause a second?
President Trump is making America.
Before she starts and we get into the press conference here, I'd like to, is it okay if I read the statement from Stephen Miller to wrap up the first hour?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I want to go ahead and read this. I want because the power is information and informing. It's very important. Listen, it's very important to inform members of your family. No, you cannot change them. You're not going to be able to change their minds. You're not going to be able to stop them from being a Democrat. But if you think that there is a way, if you think you know someone that is going out and going to try to get physically in the way with an ICE officer. I do not mean going out and standing on the street corner with your phone and filming anything. You are 100% allowed to do any of that you want. Hold a sign, say derogatory things even, but you cannot approach them, you cannot touch them, and you cannot protect a target that they are going after. And this is the statement from the Department of Homeland Security that you might need to share with your friends that are going off the deep end. To all officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duty. Anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. In other words, you touch you touch a federal officer, that's a felony. Touch him, not beat him, hit him, throw something at him. Just touch him. You have immunity to perform your duty, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator, or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligation and duties. The Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into conspiracy, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, they will face justice. That's the department. That's Stephen Miller's direct statement from the Department of Homeland Security, everybody. This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not like your Grand Theft Auto or your first-person shooter game. Don't participate. Don't get involved in anything to do with it. You can object. You can have your positions. You can run for office, and you can get people to go vote. But you cannot impede federal law enforcement in any regard, no matter what your citizen status is. Thank you for your attention.
Wow. Here we go.
America affordable again through his proven economic formula of powerful tariffs, fair trade deals, massive middle-class tax cuts, energy dominance, and aggressive deregulation. The overwhelmingly positive economic data released this week underscores the significant progress the president has already delivered. Tuesday's CPI report marked the latest confirmation that President Trump has defeated Joe Biden's inflation crisis. Since President Trump took office, core CPI has increased at just a 2.4% annualized rate, substantially lower than the 3.3% annual rate inherited from the Biden administration last January. Importantly, as inflation cools, Americans' wages are rising, giving the American people more purchasing power. And with what is likely going to be a record-breaking tax refund season in the next couple of weeks, the American people will be reaping the rewards of the massive tax cuts that were signed into law by the president. Thanks to President Trump's signing of no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security, boosting the child tax credit, and locking in the 2017 Trump tax cuts, independent estimates project the average American tax filer could expect up to an extra $1,000 bump to their tax refund next year. This is going to be a helpful boost to working families who are making ends meet. On the energy front, the national average price for a gallon of regular gas this week fell to its lowest level in 5 years, thanks to President Trump's drill baby drill agenda. According to Gas Buddy, the average price for regular gas on Monday was below $3 per gallon in 43 states, below $2.75 per gallon in 30 states, and at or below $2.50 per gallon in 17 states. In fact, gas prices were below $2 a gallon at stations in at least 19 states. Don't forget, this was unheard of just a couple of short years ago. Overall, drivers are projected to spend $11 billion less at the gas pump this year than they did last year, resulting in hundreds of dollars in critical savings for the average American family. We're also seeing the housing market rebound as borrowing costs ease and income growth outpaces home price gains. According to a new report also released this week from the National Association of Realtors, existing home sales in December rose to their fastest pace in 3 years. To further improve housing affordability, President Trump has recently announced and directed Fannie and Freddie to purchase $200 billion worth of mortgage bonds. As a result of these actions, mortgage rates have fallen to their lowest level in years. As of last Friday, rates for the average 30-year mortgage are down more than 1 full percentage point. Because of these significant declines, monthly housing payments are now at their lowest level in 2 years, and we expect this decrease to continue. As someone who was enormously successful in real estate, President Trump understands that owning a home is about more than just having a physical asset. It's about empowering young people to stake their claim in the American dream. It's about giving newlyweds a place to make their own and start a family. It's about promoting the spirit of hard work, determination, and yes, the rugged individualism that has made America the greatest country in the history of the world. President Trump knows America is strongest when it's a nation of owners, not renters, and he is determined to unlock that opportunity for as many Americans as possible. That's why he will outline additional housing initiatives during his major speech in Davos next week, and we look forward to seeing many of you there. Finally, this morning, President Trump unveiled a healthcare plan for America called the Great Healthcare Plan, and a video message detailing his solutions to lower costs for all Americans and significantly improve our healthcare system. The Great Healthcare Plan will accomplish this through 4 common sense pillars. Number 1, permanently lowering prescription drug prices. Congress can get this done by codifying President Trump's historic Most Favored Nation initiatives into law to guarantee Americans the same low prices for prescription drugs that people in other countries around the world pay. Additionally, by increasing consumer choice by making more verified, safe pharmaceutical drugs available for over-the-counter purchases. Number 2, the Great Healthcare Plan will stop sending big insurance companies billions in extra taxpayer-funded subsidy payments and instead send that money directly to eligible Americans to allow them to buy the health insurance of their choice. Additionally, by funding a cost-sharing reduction program for healthcare plans and ending kickbacks from pharmacy benefit managers to large brokerage middlemen. Number 3, the Great Healthcare Plan will maximize price transparency by requiring any healthcare provider or insurer who accepts either Medicare or Medicaid to publicly and prominently post their pricing and fees to avoid surprise medical bills. This is an incredibly popular policy that has been bipartisan for many years, and President Trump is officially and firmly calling on Congress to get it done. And number 4, holds big insurance companies accountable by requiring them to publish rate and coverage comparisons up front on their websites in plain English so consumers and everyday Americans can make the best purchasing decisions for them and their families. These are common sense actions that make up President Trump's Great Healthcare Plan, and they represent the most comprehensive and bold agenda to lower healthcare costs to have ever been considered by the federal government. Congress should immediately take up President Trump's plan and pass it into law. For Americans watching at home, you can visit greathealthcare.gov right now for more information on the Great Healthcare Plan. And with that, we will open it up to questions. In our new media seat today, we have a familiar face, Riley Gaines. I'm surprised it took us a
That's awesome. It's Riley Gaines. But wait till you hear the reading, Shady Groove. Is this going to be insane, you think?
This is going to be a next level. Just wait. They don't expect them to talk about anything she just mentioned. maybe Riley Gaines. Riley might talk about something, but nobody else.
She's going to talk about transgender, and they're all going to read about everything else.
Our Supreme Court doesn't know that boys are boys.
Oh my God! They couldn't even say, "Can a man have a baby?" They can't say no.
No, that was a doctor, by the way.
A doctor.
Yeah, a doctor literally was up there testifying on the Hill, was asked repeatedly by Josh Hawley, can a man get pregnant? Yeah. And they were pretty adamantly not going to answer that question.
Well, a PhD is the highest level of mind control.
That is blatantly on display.
Mm-hmm.
Year to get you here, but I'm very happy to see you. I know you have a new podcast, The Riley Gaines Show, and so thank you. And you brought a beautiful baby and your lovely husband too, so thank you so much for joining. And why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. Well, thank you. First and foremost, congratulations to you. Being a girl mom will change your life in the best way possible. So excited you get to shop all the pink and the frilly and the bows. I was in Washington, D.C. earlier this week for the Supreme Court case. There were 2 arguments that were heard surrounding sex-based rights and if it's constitutional for states to pass laws that ultimately protect those rights for women. If the Supreme Court rules as anticipated in favor of maintaining these sex-based rights, is the administration prepared to take action against the states? I believe at this point it's 23 states that don't have those protections for women?
Absolutely. And as you know, Riley, the administration already has done so. We've taken action in a number of fronts against these states who are failing to uphold the president's executive orders in this administration's policy of simply protecting women in women's sports and in women's private spaces. We've gone to the mat with large universities in this country as well to try to fight for what's fair and what's just for women and girls across the country. So I know you were at the arguments. I listened to them myself as a woman and as a former athlete, and I think the president president speaks on common sense on this issue, that women's sports and private spaces should be protected, and that there are two genders, there are two sexes. That is not something we should be afraid to say in this country. And I think, frankly, it was quite alarming to not only hear a couple of justices gravel over that basic, fundamental, biological fact that men and women are different but inherently equal, but we are certainly different, and women deserve such rights. We hope and expect that the Supreme Court will rule in the right way on this matter. Thank you. Gabe.
Carolyn, thank you very much. A lot to talk about.
Sure.
Isn't
there always a lot to talk
about? What can you share about the president's meeting with Maria Corina Machado? Is it underway? What can you share about that? And then also, the president said yesterday that Delcy Rodriguez was, quote, a terrific person. Does the president trust the remaining members of the Maduro regime?
I will say, to your first question, the meeting was about to begin as I was stepping out of the Oval Office moments ago, so my understanding is that it's underway right now. I know the president was looking forward to this meeting, and he's was expecting it to be a good and positive discussion with Ms. Machado, who is really a remarkable and brave voice for many of the people of Venezuela. So the president looks forward to obviously talking to her about the realities on the ground in the country and what is taking place. As for Ms. Rodriguez, the president did speak with her directly this week. As you know, he revealed that to all of you yesterday. And Secretary Rubio and the administration have been in constant communication with Ms. Rodriguez and other members of the interim government in Venezuela. They have been extremely cooperative. They have thus far met all of the demands and requests of the United States and of the president. And I think you have all seen that play out. We obviously had a $500 million energy deal that was struck in large part because of the cooperation from Ms. Rodriguez. Venezuela and Ms. Rodriguez have also confirmed that they will be releasing political prisoners from Venezuela. There were 5 Americans who were recently released this week as well. So the president likes what he's seeing and will expect that cooperation to continue.
And regarding the investigation into the leak that the president referenced yesterday, what is the administration's position on the Washington Post reporter? The Post has reported that she was told that she is not a target of the investigation. Does the administration believe she did anything wrong? And then also, what is the administration's position on the Pentagon Papers case from the 1970s that affirmed reporters' right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Well, since this is an active investigation, I don't want to comment on it much more than what we did yesterday to obviously confirm the investigation, and I can confirm what the Attorney General stated and the President as well, which is that the individual, unfortunately a contractor at the Pentagon, chose to unlawfully leak classified and very serious information to this Washington Post reporter, hence why the reporter's home was looked into by the FBI, rightfully so. And the administration is not going to tolerate leaks, especially from within the national security apparatus of the United States government, that put our nation's integrity and our national security at risk. Full stop. The president will not support that. I know the Secretary of War will not support that, and it will not stand. And legal action will be taken against anyone, whether it's a member of the press or whether it's an employee for a federal agency who breaks the law. If you break the law and if you endanger our men and women in uniform, you are going to be held accountable, period, full stop.
But does this administration believe that this reporter, or any reporter, has a right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Look, I think that we do not believe that individuals who have been given the privilege of holding a top secret clearance should be illegally leaking that classified information, and I know the American people agree with that. And I think it's a basic tenet of journalistic integrity not to publish information that could directly endanger the operational security or the brave men and women who are serving this country in uniform and putting themselves in harm's way to protect not just the people of this administration, but all of you in the press and all of their fellow Americans as well. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. I wanted to get the White House reaction to Iranian state TV broadcasting an implicit threat to the president's life. It was images of the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, according to reports, with the message, "This time it will not go wrong."
I have not seen that, to be honest with you, Jackie. We'll take a look, and I'll let the president and his national security team examine that footage to ensure its legitimacy. Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. What I will say with respect to Iran is that the president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences. And the president received a message, as he revealed to all of you and the whole world yesterday, that the killing and the executions will stop. And the president understands today that 800 executions that were scheduled and supposed to take place yesterday were halted. And so the president and his team are closely monitoring this situation, and all options remain on the table for the president.
Netanyahu encouraged him against strikes.
Look, it's true that President spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu, but I would never detail details about their conversation without giving the expressed approval by the president himself.
Thank you, Caroline. Is it still the president's assessment that it would be very hard for Ms. Machado to leave Venezuela because he says she lacks the respect and support in that country? And will he raise that with her today?
I think the president's assessment that you just pointed out was based on realities on the ground. It was a realistic assessment based on what the president was reading and hearing from his advisors and national security team. And at this moment in time, his opinion on that matter has not changed.
He has also said that he would like there to be elections in Venezuela when the time is right.
That's right.
Do you have any update on when that might be? And is he committed to a transition to democracy for Venezuela?
Yes, and he is also committed to hopefully seeing elections in Venezuela one day, but I don't have an updated timetable for you today. Reagan in the back.
Thanks, Caroline. Question for you on Minnesota and then also Venezuela.
Sure.
President Trump threatened invoking the Insurrection Act today in a Truth Social post. I'm wondering what his tipping point is. Like, what would it take for him to invoke the Insurrection Act?
Look, that's only a question, frankly, Reagan, the president can answer. But the Insurrection Act is a tool at the president's disposal. As you know, it has been used sparingly, but it has been used by previous presidents in American history. And I think the president's Truth Social post spoke very loud and clear to Democrats across this country, elected officials who are using their platforms to encourage violence against federal law enforcement officers, who are encouraging left-wing agitators to unlawfully obstruct legitimate law enforcement operations. And if you talk to any law enforcement officer, no matter what level they work at, they want to be working with their counterparts, whether that's at the federal level or the federal authorities wanting to work with their counterparts at the state and local level. And it's truly shameful that now for more than a year, you've had elected Democrat governors and mayors who have basically held their state and local law enforcement hostage and told them, you cannot cooperate with federal law enforcement. Why? They cooperated under the Biden administration. It's because these Democrats are deranged in their hatred for President Trump, and they are holding their state and local law enforcement hostage as a result. And these Democrat mayors and governors are doing this over what? Over the lawful and legitimate law enforcement operations to remove violent criminals from the streets of Minnesota, from the streets of California, from the streets of New York, and from the streets of every state across this country. And you don't see these riots and this vandalism taking place in states like Florida. Why? Because you have a governor in that state who has empowered federal and local authorities to work together. And it's despicable what we're seeing from these Democrat politicians, especially in sanctuary states and cities across the country.
Yesterday, Caroline.
Go ahead, John.
Oh, thank you so much. My question is, President Trump has talked twice in recent days, once at the Kennedy Center and then to Reuters again last night, about canceling the election. Why is he talking about this?
I believe you're referring to the president's interview at Reuters last night. I was in that interview. It was a closed-door interview. Obviously, there was not audio or video. The president was simply joking. He was saying, we're doing such a great job. We're doing everything the American people thought. Maybe we should just keep rolling. But he was speaking facetiously.
And then one more.
Sure.
On the labor secretary. She's under investigation. Has he spoken to her about this?
I don't know if the president has spoken directly to the secretary. If they have, I'm unfamiliar with that conversation. But I have spoken to the president president about that report regarding the secretary. He's aware of the internal investigation, and he stands by the secretary, and he thinks that she's doing a tremendous job at the Department of Labor on behalf of American workers. PBS, go ahead.
You were mentioning a moment ago about working federal, state, local officials in Minneapolis. Governor Walz's office is saying today that he's trying to get a hold directly with the president. Have they spoken? And if they haven't, why haven't they spoken? If there's a desire from Walz, as they're saying, to de-escalate what's happening there.
I'm not sure if that's a genuine offer to speak with the president. I was with the president about 30 minutes ago, and they hadn't spoken at that point. Look, the president is always willing to answer the phone when people pick up and call. When there was another tragic shooting many months ago in Governor Walz's state, he spoke directly with the governor. But I would ask that the governor stops inciting the harassment and illegal obstruction of law enforcement in his state. All ICE and federal law enforcement are trying to do are remove people like this off of the streets of Governor Walz's city in Minneapolis and of his state in Minnesota. If you look at some of the individuals in this photo, these are all illegal alien criminals who came into our country under the previous administration. This is some of the most disturbing crimes you will ever read about, and there's only a few reporters in this room who will actually talk about these individuals. This is all ICE is trying to do. They are trying to remove people like this from Governor Walz's state. And so yes, he should pick up the phone, and he should say that he will cooperate with this president and with the federal government in making Minnesota safer, because that's all President Trump and his administration want to do.
All right, now I want to leave it right there too, because we've got this narrative floating around on X, and I just noticed it while we were watching this, Shady. And it was a response from me from somebody right here. This is the response right here, talking about Dan Bongino, and I said, oh, because he was talking about his cancer, and he said to me, 0 arrests, pedo boy, 0. Okay. So let's actually look at the numbers, guys, because this is important to understand. Arrests are happening, guys. Federal agencies continue taking down child predators, the people that she held up. We talked about each one of those. Sodomy against a minor, guys, these people, okay? So they are taking down child predators and traffickers daily. Operation Sartorius Shield, April 2025, 244 suspects arrested, 109 children rescued from online exploitation. FBI Dallas plus 70 plus Texas agencies, widespread use of text gaming to target kids. DHS, ICE, HSI, fiscal year 2024 data into 2025 trends, arrested 4,951 individuals for child exploitation, abuse crimes, and identified 1,783 victims. Ongoing ICE actions, late 2025, early 2026, multiple worst of the worst arrests of criminal illegal aliens convicted of child graping, sexual assault of children under 12, aggravated indecent liberties with a child, human trafficking, and exploitation. Examples just from recent weeks. Jameson Israel Lopez Chavantala from Guatemala, arrested for human trafficking, child exploitation, and assault. Others include convictions, arrest for aggravated sexual assault of a child, child cruelty, production of child porn, and law enforcement, FBI, ICE, HSI, task forces actively pursuing these cases at scale, often underreported compared to high-profile demands. The fight continues. Go to the sources, FBI.gov, ICE.gov. Look at their press releases. Look at their official op announcements. Accountability happens case by case, often quietly, until sentencing. Demanding justice is valid. Claiming nothing has happened is being done is just ignores the record, Shady Groove.
It absolutely does. And here we have the announcement that we were talking about yesterday. FBI Director Kash Patel, man who was distributing child porn and engaging in online abuse against children, gets 30 years in jail. Well done, FBI Honolulu. Parents, please stay on guard with your kids. Internet usage. Last year, the FBI executed a major spike in arrests related to 764, 25%, and 490% increase in NVE arrests alone. A class often tied with online abuse. That work included terminating 3.8 million pedo accounts on the dark web.
Wow.
Ops, restore justice, enduring justice, and relentless justice. FBI and local partners arrested over 700 alleged child abusers. Getting the violent offenders off the street is a huge win, but this is still a deeply serious issue, and we need the public to be on the guard against. So effectively, Jeff, the guy that's commenting to you is out of work, my friend. He no longer has his account on the dark web. He can no longer distribute his child porn on the dark web. So he has now made his way to Twitter to troll us because we're supporting the guy that took his account.
And if you're telling me 0 arrests are happening, you're on crack.
Literal crack. Like
literal. Guys, the arrests aren't like the people that you think they are. They've conditioned you to think that it's going to be people with no victims that went to Epstein Island. Okay? That's not the actual child network, guys. They are going to the causation of the problem, the actual predators, and they're saving children. Arrests are, in fact, happening.
Let me tell you this. If you hear somebody on TV, and I've been hearing this a number of times on television, you know what they're saying, Jeff? They're saying anyone who flew to Pedo Island. You want me to tell you something? There's no airplanes. There's no Lolita Express airplane going to that island. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about. There's not an airport on Epstein Island. The airport is on one of the other islands, and then they taxi your ass over there with a boat, a submarine, or a helicopter. Okay, so there's no flight to Epstein Island, but they characterize it as that because it's a virtue signal. They don't know one damn thing about what the hell they're talking about. They're pretending they're doing this so they can get attention for clicks.
Right.
Same thing with Flynn.
And then you're sitting there in deep dream believing it.
Yeah, because you don't have anything to counter it because there's nothing right there that shows you immediately how it's stupid. And even if you go to Grok and ask Grok a number of times, like this whole thing with the ICE thing, Grok is retarded about the ICE reality and acting like that federal law enforcement don't have the ability to interface with people that aren't illegal. That is completely insane, and it's even infected Grok.
Yeah. And so if you guys need something, here it is. There's something now on X that you can look at and show people that arrests are actually happening.
The ones that matter.
The ones that matter.
Because before, Jeff, the FBI before was arresting the people that were going against their con. They were trying to attack people that were calling them out. They were attacking people that were trying to out their fraud. Are you seeing the Somali people acting like you're causing harm by discovering their fraud?
Yeah.
That's no different than this Tim Walz BS.
It's insane. All right, let's go to finish up the Caroline Leavitt press conference. We are here at the MG show showing you that arrests are happening because we're smart enough to figure it out.
It's a lot of effort to figure this stuff out, isn't it, guys?
That took me 0 effort, and Grok actually helped me with that post, Shady.
Oh, man. I mean, it's like you're working your tail off over there.
I know.
Come on, play into it a little bit. Wow, that was an extraordinary amount of effort. Look how many letters you had to type. It was probably more than 10 letters you had to type to get that. I think it was.
Can you show me that the arrests are actually happening?
Wow, man, that was almost 20 letters. They're pretty impressive. Not everybody will go through that.
My thumbs are tired.
They're great looking thumbs, by the way.
And by the way, I want to thank you guys all. Prayers up for my mom. She does have another UTI, I believe. And she's kind of going a little crazy with it, but prayers up. She should be okay, but she is in the ER. Just want to let you guys know that. And if you can help this show, I would really appreciate it because I do work my ass off, as does Shady and Yeti. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mary. Thanks, Caroline. The president says he wants money to go directly to Americans so they can buy their own insurance. How exactly would this work? And can the president assure Americans that this will be enough?
He doesn't know how to buy insurance.
So this is the second principle in the president's health care plan, lowering insurance premiums specifically and ensuring that money is going directly back to the American people and cutting the kickbacks that then raise those premiums. So this plan, once put into legislative text and passed by Congress and sent to the president's desk, will stop sending big insurance companies billions of an extra taxpayer-funded subsidy payments and instead send that money directly to eligible Americans to allow them to buy the health insurance of their choice through, you may have heard it be referred to as health savings accounts. Whether that ends up being the actual name of such accounts, we'll have to see. Again, Congress and the White House are going to work together to put this plan into action. And then secondly, the Great Healthcare Plan will fund a cost-sharing reduction program for healthcare plans which will save taxpayers at least $36 billion and reduce the most common Obamacare plan premiums by over 10%, and that's according to the Congressional Budget Office.
20 million Americans in recent weeks have seen their health care costs soar. Can he assure them that if this plan is put in place, that they will be able to cover those costs?
If this plan is put in place, every single American who has health care in the United States will see lower costs as a result. They will see more transparency. All of these proposals that are within the Great Healthcare Plan are incredibly popular with the American people, and they will impact everyone, not just a small fraction of those who are within the healthcare marketplace, but every single American will continue to see their costs go down. And I will note that they already are with respect to prescription drug prices. When you look at what the president has done with most favored nations, you've seen these big pharmaceutical companies in the Oval Office saying that this president and his team were nonstop, around the clock, pressuring us and negotiating with us to lower the cost of prescription drugs for Americans. And we are already seeing that to the tune, in some cases, of more than 500%. And that Trump RX website is something that the administration will be formally launching very soon, so Americans will have access to those lower costs of drugs. Josh.
Thank you. The president has called on credit card companies to lower the cap rate to 10% effective the 20th next week. If they don't do that, what's his... What'll he do? What's the threat?
Well, tariffs? No, I'm just kidding. The president certainly has an expectation, Josh. I love her. Just as he did with the pharmaceutical companies, that they will lower costs for American consumers. I don't have a specific consequence to outline for you, but certainly this is an expectation and, frankly, a demand that the president has made.
And can you give us an update on the Fed? Sorry. There was some reporting from, I think, Fox Business that Rick Reeder had an interview this week scheduled. The president's indicated he's already made a selection, or at least he's settling on someone. Where is he in that process, and when can we expect an announcement? Is he still doing interviews?
Look, the president is in the same place as you all have been asking about this for many, many weeks. He's in a decision-making phase. There are a few people who he likes very much for this job, maybe less than that. The truth is, like with all decisions, it's a decision for the president to make. And he said to Reuters in that interview last night that he thinks he'll be finally making that decision in the next couple of weeks. So we will see.
And very quickly, there's been some criticism from other governments about Grok and XAI, the Twitter AI bot, and things it's been doing to manipulate images, including whether that would violate the Take It Down Act that the First Lady has supported. We've not heard from this administration on it. Elon Musk says that they've disabled that, but I wanted to ask you whether the administration has a position and whether that's something that you will be pursuing, or whether the president has talked to Mr. Musk about that.
Yes, I will talk to the Office of Science and Technology, and we will get you a firm statement and answer on exactly where the administration stands. I don't want to speak on that without speaking with the experts on it.
Yes. Just to follow up on the health care plan, one of the things in the Affordable Care Act was coverage of pre-existing conditions. Is there any discussion or inclusion on that issue in the president's plan?
The president's plan that he outlined today will have no impact on individuals in this country with pre-existing conditions. Obviously, that's a continued conversation that the White House will have with Congress, but that's not the president's intention with the Great Health Care Plan. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. Two questions on Minneapolis.
And then you. Go ahead.
Thanks. Two questions on Minneapolis, one on the ICE agent and the other on the rioting. I believe last night there were protesters or rioters that rifled through an FBI car, took weapons. We had a reporter embedded with ICE.
It was an FBI car, Shady. Wow.
All evening. Can you speak to the rhetoric we're hearing from Democrat politicians, whether they are causing violence against ICE, as well as some of the headlines we've seen, not including the polls?
Pause it a second.
Yeah, I mean, to your.
I think that I wasn't 100% sure about that. I saw that reporting last night, and the guys that were reading the stuff, it was crazy. They were reading. They had pulled out the paperwork, and there was a couple of videos where they were reading the names of the agents off, and it was almost like they were reading FBI names off. So that's why I was like thinking, okay, is this some sort of assistant to the vehicle that would be there, maybe assisting the ICE people or witnessing or watching or something? I'm not real sure. I don't want to say that it was an FBI car, but there was. I was curious why ICE agents would have personal info about FBI agents. So it was confusing.
Now it makes sense a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go.
Your first point, I think I've addressed that these Democrat governors and mayors in not just Minnesota, but in states across the country are essentially, they've referred to ICE agents who, again, are brave men and women. And I would encourage everyone in this room, and I would encourage Governor Walz and other Democrats who are demeaning law enforcement to sit down and have a cup of coffee with an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent. These are great, patriotic men and women who have families, who put on the uniform every day and are following our nation's immigration laws at the direction of their bosses and again, at the direction of the law. They are simply trying to enforce the law. And the Democrat Party has demeaned these individuals. They've even referred to them as Nazis and as the Gestapo. And that is absolutely leading to the violence we're seeing in the streets. If you look at some of the images...
Stochastic terrorism is, it's terrorism, Shady.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Out of Minneapolis last night. Look at this vehicle. Look at what it says. It says F ICE. You have these individuals who are putting their middle finger, proudly so, at the camera. Another ICE individual, a vehicle that was vandalized last night by these left-wing agitators. People don't do this without encouragement from people in power who make them feel like it's okay.
And that's not peaceful.
Not even close.
Here's another one. And I'm pretty sure this car, you can't see it, said the best agent is a dead agent, or something to that effect. This is despicable rhetoric that we're seeing, and the media is absolutely complicit in this violence, because if you look at the headline from CNN, protests erupt after federal agent shoots man in Minneapolis.
I was talking about this, Shady.
Yep.
This is the headline I was talking about.
Yep.
Wow, let's go back a little bit. Wow.
A vehicle that was vandalized last night by these left-wing agitators. People don't do this without encouragement from people in power who make them feel like it's okay. Here's another one. And I'm pretty sure this car, you can't see it, said the best agent is a dead agent, or something to that effect. This is despicable rhetoric that we're seeing, and the media is absolutely complicit in this violence, because if you look at the headline,
egging it on.
Protests erupt after federal agent shoots man in Minneapolis. That is not the story. That is not the truth. If you actually want to know the truth, you can look at what the Department of Homeland Security released, which is that this ICE agent was executing a targeted operation against a Venezuelan illegal alien who was unlawfully present in the country. And when this ICE agent tried to detain the individual, 3 more of his comrades came rushing out of a house and started ambushing and attacking the ICE agent. They used a shovel or a broom to smash his face in. And so yes, that agent had to use self-defense and take up his weapon to protect his own life. That is what's happening on the streets of Minneapolis. That's what's happening on the streets, unfortunately, of these Democrat-run cities and states where you have elected officials who are encouraging such violence against our brave men and women in law enforcement.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions. First, a follow-up on one of my colleagues who asked you about the president's interview with lawyers. You said that he was joking about canceling the elections, but Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy.
Oh, for
good
Oh, stop it, you freak.
There you go.
The idea of canceling elections funny?
And
yes, I do think it's funny.
No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question in that way.
Second, Caroline, next
Thank you, Caroline. Senator Elizabeth Warren said.
God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Apologize for that. Earlier this week to discuss caps on credit card interest rates. I'm curious, would the president work with her and other Democrats in Congress on a legislative fix to this issue?
I think the president would work in good faith with anyone in Congress for a good legislative fix that would benefit the American people. And that's precisely why he called Senator Warren earlier this week on that matter.
Thanks, Caroline. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally. And earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed.
Only 170 citizens in a whole year? That's not bad. Detained. Detained means you're released.
Yeah, and we're looking at over 2 million illegals gone, so that percentage is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I like it. I'll take it.
I think that we should take that. I think that you should take what this British guy is saying and shove it up your
Your crumpet? Your tea and crumpets?
Wherever you got to put it.
By an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my
Yeah.
opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing as from a journalist. And it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending that you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Lake and Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist. Kelly.
Bravo.
That is fire right there. Round of applause for Caroline Levitt, Shady Groove. Wow.
Exactly the way I would have handled it.
Wow.
Two quick questions on Iran. I wanted to ask first, just if you can say, how close was the president to potentially launching strikes last night, and was it the Gulf states that convinced him not to do that, as some of the region there have said?
No. Well, look, Kelly, I know there's been a lot of speculation in the media about what the president is going to do at any given moment or any given night. And I would say a lot of these stories, to be honest with you, I've been reading them, and they've been based on anonymous sources who are pretending or guessing to know the president's thinking. The truth is, only President Trump knows what he's going to do, and a very, very small team of advisors are read into his thinking on that. And as I just told you, he continues to closely monitor the situation on the ground in Iran. And as we saw yesterday, he had heard that the killings and executions would stop. And we have seen 800 people, their lives have been spared as a result of that. The president continues to closely monitor, but also keep all of his options on the table.
Caroline, two separate questions.
Sure.
On the Machado meeting first, what is it that the president feels that he needs to hear from her or from the opposition party that he hadn't heard prior to today, or he wanted to hear in the meeting, to be able to convince him to commit to some sort of a timeline for elections?
I'm not sure the president is going into such the meeting with expectations like you just laid out, Fran. I don't think he needs to hear anything from Ms. Machado. I think generally this is a meeting that the president was willing to take and willing to accept to meet Ms. Machado in person and to just have a frank and positive discussion about what's taking place in Venezuela. That's all.
And on the subject of Greenland, Jeff Landry, the president's special envoy for Greenland, wasn't in the White House meeting yesterday. Can you say why that was and what exactly the role he is playing in these conversations about acquiring Greenland?
Well, the Vice President and the Secretary of State were present for that meeting, and the meeting, it was a productive meeting. It was a good meeting, and in that meeting, the two sides agreed to really establish a working group of individuals who will continue to have technical talks on the acquisition of Greenland. Those talks will take place, I'm told, every 2 to 3 weeks, so this is a conversation the administration intends to keep having with the Danes and with the respected delegation from Greenland. But the president has made his priority quite clear. He wants the United States to acquire Greenland. He thinks it's in our best national security to do that.
There have been multiple instances of American citizens being detained by ICE, and I'm wondering what the administration is asking the agency to do. What steps is the administration asking the agency?
Okay, you're a reporter. So if you're detained by ICE and you're an American citizen, you prove that you're an American citizen and you're on your way. I mean, what? Hello?
I have an instruction manual, Jeff. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
It's very simple. It really doesn't. It doesn't take a lot of thinking, man. We could sum this up clearly for these people. They have. I know they have issue. How to avoid ICE? Three easy steps. Don't be here illegally. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two. Don't attack an ICE officer.
2.
3. Obey all federal and state law.
Wow. Simple.
Do those three things, and guess what's not going to happen?
Yeah. And if they get you, if you get what do you call it? If they get you detained and you're an American citizen, you say you're an American citizen, you prove it, and you're out. JQ, is this channel still anti-Flynn? 100%.
we're mad.
And are we denial of devolution during Biden? Absolutely.
Are you pro communist networks built out of the CIA?
Yeah. Take your Q out of your name. Here we go. Back to this.
To take to ensure that Americans are not wrongly arrested?
Obviously, ICE
Not an arrest.
on detaining individuals who are unlawfully present in the country. And there have been hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens who have been arrested and detained and deported from this country by ICE over the course of the last year. And that's their intention, and that is their goal.
Thank you, Caroline. What about the Greenland group?
Uh-oh. Do we still have Shady up on the screen?
Oh, no.
Hi, Shady. You and Caroline.
What's up? I was listening.
Hearing we had a doctor.
Okay.
And she did not directly answer that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to your first question on Greenland, I don't think troops in Europe impact the president's decision-making process, nor does it impact his goal of the acquisition of Greenland at all. To your second question, I mean, anyone in their right mind with common sense who's speaking honestly and candidly will say that men cannot get pregnant. And I think I can attest to that myself. So thank you all very much.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually the whole thing. You know, we don't even have come close to having time for some of this absolute stupidity.
Yeah.
Yes, the doctor lady yesterday looks like an Indian doctor was having difficulty answering the question, can a man get pregnant? If you have the letters DR before your name and you're asked the question, can a man get pregnant, and you can't answer it, the DR in front of your name should be removed. Immediately. Like there's no questioning. We can come to some term or something that we say in society, like you cross this threshold. The stupidity has gotten too deep into your psyche. We can no longer trust you to give us medical attention or advice.
It's ridiculous. And I saw that video. I was going to pull it up, but it's 2:01 Shady Grove.
Yeah.
We've reached our time. Now it's time to say goodbye to the MG Show family.
I think that this is a good metric. You know, we're talking about health insurance, or you're talking about okay, can we get health insurance? How's this all going to work? We're going to get our own money. Whenever you go to vet your new doctor, remember they said you like your doctor, you could keep your doctor. Well, that wasn't true because they needed you to have a doctor like this crazy lady. So next time you go to a doctor, you need to look at them and say, excuse me, sir or ma'am, can a man get pregnant? And from there, from the answer to that question, you decide the future of your health care. I think that you could navigate properly from there, and you would probably end up finding somebody that could actually help you if you could find somebody that will tell you that a man cannot get pregnant.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys.
It's just crazy. We're even saying this on the air. It's 2026. I don't even feel like it's real.
I mean, even Bill Nye the Science Guy had to change his tune, guys. Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
There was an old video of him saying that a man is a man and a girl is a girl, boy is a boy, a girl is a girl. And then he had to change and, to get his Disney contract and stay within the deep state, he had to tell you that, it can change.
You think these people got confused because they didn't have Mr. Rogers whenever they were young to explain to them what a little boy was and what a little girl was, exactly what your roles in society are?
It's so ridiculous,
dude.
All right, so we had a little, troll in here about Flynn and devolution. We've talked about that many times. Thank you for coming and asking the question. We appreciate you, no doubt. But maybe you might want to do a little more research. And who's not in the second administration for Trump, Shady Grove?
Well, there's quite a number of people. There's one in particular that makes me excited, and that is last name Flynn.
and who is on our show, loving our show, that says devolution is bullshit?
Oh, I'm really excited about that. That would be the current FBI director, last name Patel.
Okay, good. Just wanted to understand what I was talking about, Shady, because I don't know.
Solid show, bro.
Rock solid, guys. Thank you guys so much. We love you so much. Man, maybe I should play. I'm going to play.
Wait, before you play, we're going to plug Before you play, we're going to plug Friday's premium content coming up tomorrow. We are now reading
tomorrow
Bloodlines of the Illuminati book, word for word. You are getting an in-depth view for what it is and the reason that it is that this show was censored. I'd like to remind everybody that at the beginning they were telling us that we were connected to Alex Jones because we were talking about the bloodlines of the Illuminati. Now they're all the Flynn numbnuts are over there in the Alex Jones network trying to pretend like their gate analysis is real and Candace Owens is pinning down Charlie Kirk as the time travel.
Well, I apologize for that.
It just is what it is, Alex.
It is so stupid.
We can't make it up, can we?
All of you people that believed in all this crap, you've been fooled, okay? I'm telling you right now. You've been fooled, but not the MG show. We stand alone, Shady.
The quicker you admit it, the better off you'll be.
Oh, my God. Power to the people. Not General Flynn, not even Trump. To you, the people, because this government is being returned to you, the people. And if you want to know how, you want to find out why, listen to the MG show. We got their number, Shady. See you tomorrow.
We got you.
You have a choice. It's always been yours. A voice they can't silence, breaking through the noise. They pull the strings, they set the stage, divide us with wars, lock us in a cage. Racing class, faith and fear, they scream so loud, but we're still here. Through MG show, the truth breaks free. MG music lifts us, a rallying plea. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. They shame the brave, they chain the free. Group think marching, but not for me. Hollywood glitters, leaders deceive, but MG show shines, makes us believe. Defend the chaos, push the dread. Nuclear whispers, words they bled. MG music plays a rebel sound. The truth is clear, it's all around. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. We planned, we fought, we took the reins. Through the storm, through the chains. Antifa rises, fears their game. But MG show calls out their shame. Sheep may follow blind and weak. MG music wakes us, truth we seek. God bless the brave, the heart sincere. From every shore, the call is clear. Power to the people, hear the call ignite. Dark to light, we're stepping out tonight. They're losing grip, their shadows fade. Together we stand unafraid. Oh, power to the people. Oh, we'll never let it go. Stand firm, be strong, the words resound. All men are equal on sacred ground. MG show leads, MG music sings. The people's power spreads its wings. Power to the people. Oh, power to the people.
We rise. www.mg.show. Boom.